That's how we going. I had a whole purpose for this. I had a whole purpose for this video. And once I got to the talking, I forgot what the video is supposed to be about. But I guess I'll just go with the flow. So I was watching the movie Skeleton Key yesterday. And I was watching this movie called Kinds of Kindness. And two things came to me. One thing is that belief is the start of everything. Belief is the start of everything. Belief is the start of everything. When I was young, I always believed in myself. And this is how God knows if you're meant to make it. He'll start your story off when you're young. And he'll put you through circumstances to dictate if you can take the suffering. You get what I'm saying? When I was young, I was isolated a lot. And I still believed. There was nothing to believe in because the story wasn't told yet. But just like any story, any movie, no, the movie doesn't really start until halfway. The beginning of a movie is just the build-up. So I say this to everyone watching or listening, whoever watches this. I don't know how old you are, but your story won't happen until you start moving. Because the bulk of your beginning is the buildup. So you're probably asking God. You know, whether it's the true God or the false one. They operate the same way. God, why isn't my life changing? Because they're building the story. You can't, if a story began and ended with the person or the protagonist gaining their blessing too early, the movie would be 30 minutes long. So to give grace to the actor and the director, the story has to have the climax hit at least. If the movie's an hour and 30 minutes, 2 hours long, it has to at least hit 45 minutes to an hour in it for you to understand the gravity of the story. There's many things in my life I question. And I said, God, why did all this happen? He said, I needed you to. If I could go back in time, a lot of part of my teens, a lot of part of my 20s was basically useless. But it was building understanding. So when my story really started for me in my 30s, I wouldn't make the mistakes because that's what humans do. We only learn through experience. Knowledge can only take you so far. He's saying, I gave you your teens. I gave you your childhood. I gave you your 20s for understanding. So when you move in your 30s, 40s, and 50s, you won't have to question. You can justify it based on your past. You can say, well, this and this happened. History repeats itself. I can move different. I already know what type of time it is. See what I'm saying? When God gives you suffering, he's not doing it because he hates you. He's doing it so he can learn you, so he can teach you. And if you don't learn the lesson, now you've experienced life in vain. Today, I'm going to paint after this video. And I'm going to continue painting. There are many things in my life I ask God, why this? Why am I still? Why am I still, living this harsh life? And God said, you of all people should know that it's not harsh. You're actually very, 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 you're fortunate. Something about the word blessed doesn't feel right. Fortunate sounds better. You're fortunate and favored. The fact that you even lived past, the fact that you got to this age, in this stage in life, without either going crazy, killing yourself, killing someone else. You get what I'm trying to say. The fact that you didn't do harm to yourself or someone else. And also, the fact that you still have a will to live. Because some people are still on this earth, but they don't have a will to live. They're just like empty bodies. The fact that you still push on and have an understanding of what this is shows that you're meant to be here. And I needed to show you. Because many times in life, many times in life, we think that this life is meant for us. It's the Satan is an I concept. The true God is a we concept because it's really about him and you, but him first. The I am comes from you having understanding of who you are through him. We're nothing without him. So I say this because if you lack understanding of God, then you have no life. That's really what it's about. If you don't know God, you have no life. So it can be whether you're 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80. Most people find God right before they about to die, when they lose their breath. Oh, I saw it. Then their eyes get all big. I saw something. For those that don't know God, they usually meet God right before they die. And that don't mean that they're going to heaven. That just means that he showed himself to them. Now, if God really has a connection with you, you meet him while you're still living. So what I'm trying to say is that life is more so about a story to be told rather than a life to be lived. And if you like stories, if you like movies, if you like books, if you like anything that dictates, like a patterned timeline. That's all a story is. It's just a pattern of information over time. History. That's a story. If you have a desire for those type of things, then you should never regret living life. It's just that the experience of life amongst other individuals that don't see it the way you see it is what makes this life unbearable. Because if you could have it your way, you might just have many people that act just like you, but then God would say, then what would you have learned? If there were 1,000 me's, I'd be good. But what would I learn? What would I learn? And also, where would the conflict arise? A story is about up, down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. That's the story has to have a flow. You can't just be up or happy. I love happy stories, but I'm different. Most people need that fluctuation of emotion to feel like elated. If a movie was too happy, people would be like, man, it's boring. People need that up and down to rise their emotions, to make their emotions fall, to get that that I don't want to call it euphoria, but to get that feeling. People desire that because people are weird. But you need that duality of emotion, because we live on a duality planet, or a duality realm, whatever you want to call this. But I need you to understand this. Life only gets easier when you begin to play like you want to win it. Because not everyone on the planet wins life. You get what I'm saying? Some people live life and lose. It doesn't mean that their life is any less. They didn't play. They didn't play. You gotta gamble on your own life if you want to win. You can gamble and lose, but at least you gambled. At least you chose to choose you first. This is the time, if in any time in our history ever, where you need to choose you. And don't choose anyone else until you get to the finish line. People will try to manipulate you when you get real close. Oh, we should do this, we should do that. No. Do your will first. Get to the finish line and then come back. Get what I'm saying? Your life is a story, and it only can be told by you. There are many people in your life that don't want your story to be told because it affects their story when your story is told in the truthful way. Every day counts, because every day is another page in your book. But just because the page turns doesn't mean that the pages are meaningful. You have to make the page count. If you don't, it's just a meaningless page. You may have a whole book of gibberish. It doesn't mean that it's not a book. It's still a book. It's just the contents is useless. It can't tell you how to live your life, and I don't want to. But what I can say is that if you believe that life has a purpose, the purpose starts with you. What do you want to do and contribute for this world that we live in now? What do you want to impact it with? And if you say money is not good enough, because money, as you can see, is fake. You got Bitcoin, Ethereum, you got all these things, because they know that we know now that it's fake. Because if currency is real, why you change it? Why you change it to electronical? That's not the point. Let's not go there. Let's get back to the point. Continue your story, because you're almost there to the climax, to where the story, you're almost at the point where your story starts to get fun. You're almost at the point of the movie where the action starts to happen. You need the sad times to have the good times. Get closer to God. Get closer to God and ask Him for guidance. Ask Him for guidance and direction. Because this is the time to where your story will start to make sense. This is the time where you're going to gain clarity. Isolate yourself. There are people in your life that know your climax is about to kick off. There are people in your life that know that your life is about to start popping. Your winning season is coming. But it's your winning season. It ain't no one else's but yours. They didn't have to go through the hardship. Your winning season is coming. Keep it quiet. Don't tell nobody. And once you get there, past the finish line, stay quiet for at least a year. Don't even tell no one that you won. Have people thinking that you still lost. Better yet, no. Have people thinking that you're still in the race. Because if you lost, that's a conflicting emotion towards you. You never want to think that you lose. But if you do lose, see it as a lesson and not a loss. Because to lose is to lose, but what did you learn from it is what makes it different from a loss. Because loss is loss. But if you learn from your loss, you can still win next time. You see how the mind works? You have to truly want to have the knowing that you're still capable of winning. Once you give up, ain't no ungiving up. Because once you give up, your spirit has already admitted that it's been defeated. Don't ever feel that your spirit has been defeated. Once your spirit is defeated, you're done. You're done. That's what happened to the what you call the African Americans, the Negroes, the Western Indigenous, the American Indigenous. That's what happened to them. As we're still here now, you see our actions. Our actions will define who we are. You see how we act because our spirit is gone. We don't know who we are. That's what happens when someone defeats your spirit. Do not let the world win. If you're still in the game, God will let you know. Once you're out, God will let you know. Whether you're in or out, God will let you know. If you're still in the game, ask Him for guidance because you can still play better. You can still advance yourself if you're still in the game. But once you're out of the game, you're out of the game. Continue your story. Continue writing your story. Continue turning the page because one day you will get there. It's not about when. It's about how and what will you do after you get there. Don't think about the win. What will you do after you get there? Once you get that million, how will you spend it? You know what I'm saying? It's preparation. Everything God does is for preparation. Because if he let you fly and flap your wings and you don't know how to fly, what's the point? Prepare yourself for flight. When you ride a bike and you got training wheels, prepare yourself to ride without the training wheels. That means that you're really ready for the bicycle. When you're with God, you're in training. When He takes His hands off of you, you're really playing. You're really in the game when He takes His hand because He trusts you that you can ride the bike and not fall. And if you fall, He knows you're going to get back up. Understand that everything in life is God's preparation for you to win. For you to win big in His name and give Him the glory. So I say this before I upload this. If you're chosen, everything prior to the win is training. If you're chosen, everything prior to the win is His way of building your story to be the greatest story ever told. Ask yourself, what type of story do I want to tell the world about me? And I don't mean embellishment. A true story. What type of story do I want the world to know about me before I leave? When my time is up, what do I want them to know? What do I want them to hear about me when I'm gone? That's what it's about. That's what it's always been about. The whole thing from the beginning of time has been a story. It's been a never-ending story, back to back to back. We're just living that narrative over and over and over until we get it right.